I imagine the locker room's feeling great. I haven't had a chance to go in there yet, but I think just the heart shown from the girls tonight. I think we saw it in our preliminary round against Alianza. Wasn't the prettiest game necessarily at times, but I think the way that they fought back and the way that they showed, what they can do, could not be more proud. I think for me, it's an amazing opportunity to be here, and we were excited to be here. And leaving with a win is incredibly. Just proud.
Buenas noches, Melissa Gallego para Futboleras. ¿Cuáles eran las sensaciones previas a este partido y también cómo se sintieron en el campo con un equipo como Santa Fe, que estuvo sobre todo en la segunda parte muy en el área de ustedes buscando las ocasiones, y también si el factor del clima le afectó un poco también a las jugadoras?
What were the feelings before the game, leading up to the game, and how did you feel during the second half when Santa Fe was pushing for a goal and had you guys a little bit under pressure? Also, one follow-up to that, did the climate affect the group at all?
Yeah, I think going into the game, we were excited for the next challenge. I think coming off of our first group stage game, there was a lot of learnings. There was a lot of, things that we could take away from that game that, made us better coming into this game. I think having the opportunity to play both in El Salvador and Mexico, to answer the follow-up question, I think, we started to acclimatize a little bit. I do think it still plays a role in, especially the second half when you start to see players tire and all of that in terms of the heat. But, I think in the second half, there was some stressful times. We talk a lot as a team about embracing hard moments, and it is a theme throughout our culture is, can we embrace the hard moments? Can we manage those waves? I think when Santa Fe turned it up, we just needed to do our best to dig our heels in and manage the wave that they brought to us. And I think, with the preparation of the ability to, be calm in those moments and embrace hard moments and learn from them and keep growing into the game and through the game, that's all I could ask the players to do. So how was I feeling? A little stressed. But I think, through the second half, I knew that we were going to be able to dig deep because I know the players and the mentality is really strong with them.
Good evening, Coach. Congratulations for tonight's victory. What do you highlight most from your team in the collective aspect, besides of today's victory, which it has a huge meaning for Vancouver?
Yeah, there's a couple things I would highlight. I think the performance from our two midfielders, Chloe Taylor and Emily Wong, they both played 90 minutes. Normally we have Geneva Hernandez-Gray, who is a player that, people talk about in these conferences quite often. She's away at the U20 national team, and I think highlighting the performance from those two, both sides of the ball, in possession, out of possession, the shift that they put in. I'd love to see their distances from the game because, I think they really dug in and dug deep. I think from a collective perspective, the mindset of managing, as I said, the hard moments, and I think the leadership from Brianne Reed and her ability in that back line, I think she was the player of the match today. Highlighting her as a captain and her ability to lead that back line and get us through some of those moments. But as a whole, I think every player really put everything that they could into it, whether they played 10 minutes or 90. And that's all I can ask is players to be ready to come into the game, impact the game, and be able to do everything that they can to win it.
Coach, me again. Let's talk a little bit about this tournament, the CONCACAF W Championship. We already talked about, how enthusiastic you guys were, but what does it mean for a young player, as you have a lot of them, to play a tournament like this, like in international level, in a club competition?
I think this tournament is the start of something beautiful in our country. We have not had a professional league in Canada up to this point. Going into 2025, that is something that's starting. So the fact that we're able to compete on a world stage in this tournament ahead of 2025 and really get people's eyes on the country and start to raise the awareness around the players that we have. We've got some good young players, and they're ready to be pros, and they're ready to take the next step to the next level. And I think the importance of this tournament just shows that we have that in Canada, and these kids they're ready to move on and continue to push for pro contracts and international opportunities. So I think the opportunity to play some amazing teams, Santa Fe, Club America last week, going back home to BC Place and having the American teams, but having some of our Canadian players come home to play against us and our little youth team with some of the older ones that we brought in. I think it's just an incredible opportunity, and like I said, I think it's the start of something beautiful in our country.
One question for me. Can you talk about what it means to now come back home, play at BC Place in front of fans, take on two big opponents, and play in front of family and friends as well?
It means the world. I think, our opportunity for young players, especially those in our program that aren't from Vancouver, we have a couple that come in, they're billeted players. I'm sure their families will be traveling in for that game. For us as coaching staff, the ability to play in front of our families and friends and everybody at BC Place, and the ability to do it in front of or against teams that a lot of people have looked up to for however many years. Growing up, even for me as a young player, looking up to Christine Sinclair and looking up to some players that will be coming into BC Place, hopefully, to play against us in those games. So I think Kira Martin said it in an interview, how she was just like, I'm so honored. I have her jersey on my wall. I have her autograph, and I've been looking up to her since I was little. And as a center back, she'll have the opportunity to play against her. So I think, there could not be a better opportunity for our players and our country to bring those teams and get some excitement around the women's game.
All right, thank you everyone. That concludes tonight's press conference with head coach Katie Collar.
Thank you.
Gracias a todos.